why are they advertising there's mice in this house? Isn't it insanitary?
Oh, you stink!
Crossovers are so strange because everyone loves them, but when you look at it, they're really rare. Maybe they'll get a brief commercial one, or the good old, let's just throw everything we own into a bowl. But the more dedicated or ambitious ones are rare, especially in cartoons, and especially nowadays. The 2000s were probably the peak of cartoon crossovers. Jimmy Timmy, Lilo and Stitch crossing over with everything, Turtles Forever, Grim Adventures of K&D, and the magnum opus of crossovers, House of Mouse. This is a really fun show. It's basically everything a young Disney fan would want. But as much as I love this series, it's definitely one of those better when I was a kid things. It's like dinosaurs. When I was a kid, they looked like this. But as I became an adult, big science made them lame. I still love this show, but looking at it, the crossovers aren't as major as you'd think. There's a few episodes that really take advantage of it, like the episode I highlighted in my favorite Disney episode list, but most focus mostly on the Mickey crew and one specific film character. Usually Timon and Pumbaa. There's like 20 episodes about them. Also, while the idea of playing shorts is a fun idea, 95% of them are from Mickey Mouse Works, a series that came right before this series, and they're fun, but not as good as most of the classics. So I think we should revive this series. Here's why they'll never revive this series. It could be hard to get voice actors back. Now Disney relies mostly on celebrities for their films. Even if they recast, then it's not really them. The original was 2D animated, just like all the films at the time, so it was easy to translate all the characters. Now most are 3D, so it's harder. They can't do 3D because it's more expensive. It's a Sonic Boom quote.
Just think of all the hundreds more stories to be told using the same 8 characters and 4 locations.
The original got away with its cheap animation because animation was allowed to be cheap back then, which allowed them to focus more on the writing. Standards are higher now, so animation must also be up to snuff. Disney tends to try away from crossovers outside their games. Also, they don't care about their shows. So yeah, this will never happen. Here's how I would make it if it did. Yeah, just because it can't happen doesn't mean I can't play God. Why do you think we got Platypie? So here's how I would make a House of Mouse remake if I had the power. I'm doing this because one of my friends, Garth, filled out a tier list with like 5 bajillion characters on it, and I said anyone who fills it out gets 1 video request within reason. His first request was to create a Family Guy episode, which is very much not in reason. So here's his second idea. Wow, isn't this a really cool idea that you can really see me doing and having a lot of things to add? Don't get used to it. We have to cover the worst cartoons and cartoon cameos, which are also things in my wheelhouse. But like, are you a fan of Dragon Ball, Weezer, and Hazbin Hotel? So I'm not, because you have to do videos on them now! Anyways, time for Mouse of House. So again, this is something that'll never happen, so I could go insane with this, but I want to be a little bit realistic at least. I think the first thing we should decide is what it looks like, which is shockingly hard to do. I mean, you can't just snap your fingers and create an art style. I mean, you can with AI, but you can't keep the old style. It's been 2 decades. The style isn't really in style anymore. So I think the easy thing to do would be based off an old style. And I mean, if you want a clever, visually distinct look, that's been already shown to be able to interpret movie characters well. I mean, the 2013 series ended last year. Those are the best things to come out of Mickey Mouse in decades. So yeah, I say use that team. The almost Art Deco look works well with the overall vibe of an old clubhouse diner with the show. And the feels of a lot of the movies. So yeah, them. Then, well, a lot has changed since the original show. Disney has a lot more toys to play with. So to include them all, well, I'm just going to say right now, no Star Wars, no Marvel. Not budging there. At best, maybe a character from a lightsaber or capped shield, the prop basement the show had, but that's it. Compare Wreck-It Ralph 2 to Once Upon a Studio. Studio proves there's a lot of fun and underused dynamics that could be used with these characters to give them the chance, and that was only 6 minutes. Ralph 2, though, used everything Disney owned, and mostly gave focus to Star Wars and Marvel. It would probably be the same here. I think we should keep them separate. Pixar? I'm torn. I think the Pixar cast fit very well next to the Disney ones. We do have the problem of needing to redesign them all for 2D. Also, with a few exceptions, most are voiced by celebrities. I'm gonna say, yeah, let's allow them. Use them sparingly, like maybe every 5 episodes give focus to a Pixar character. But yes, they're there. Muppets. Disney doesn't care about them, lol. Though I could see a special episode focusing on them, but that's it. Live action movies, no, keep it animated. Theme parks. The Haunted Mansion was in the original, they can stay, maybe also add Figment. Finally, one I debated the most with, Disney TV animation. Y'all know I love the shows of Disney as much as the movies. Maybe even more so. Disney, however, has been very wishy-washy on focusing on them. Usually they're second class from the movies. Heck, look at their 100th anniversary celebration. Disney shoved everything they owned together but the shows. They were constantly ignored. Plus, just general lack of marketing for them. I really could just easily shelve them. But, however, in the original, Pepper Ann made a cameo. There's President Baby Frick the Rolls Edelman! Hey, this is my video. Include them. Yeah, Disney usually hates their shows, but Owl House and Jake Long recently added to Disney mobile game, despite not being shows they usually acknowledge. Gravity Falls is getting a book, Prison Forever is getting rebooted. Add them. They should be easier to add than a lot of the movie characters. Also, like, hey, some movies have shows. It makes sense to include those characters. Again, be conservative with them, but they're here. So yeah, focus on the main Disney movie characters, with some favorite cameos from Pixar and Disney TVA. How about the plot? I think the original plot works greatly. Mickey and friends own a nightclub, but Pete is a greedy landlord, tries to get them to hand it over, but as long as the show goes on, they keep going. Just have Mickey decide to reopen the club, and that's all you need. Keep everyone in the same role, they work perfectly for each character. I don't think we need to add anything, besides one thing I'll get to later. Also, bring back my boy Mike. He was great at introducing the show and closing it off. He'll need to be recasted though, thanks to his voice actor casting. Speaking of that, yeah, a lot of celebrities will be recasted, but that's not Reboot exclusive. Not only did they obviously recast all the dead actors, they also had a few celebrities like Nathan Lane and Robin Williams recasted as well. It would help keep costs down, especially if they get one actor to voice multiple characters. The big thing though, the shorts. Obviously they're saying they're too important to the show to cut, but also obviously that's kind of not why people watch the show. It's for the interactions and Mickey shenanigans. I think the big thing is to take advantage of the years and years worth of Mickey shorts and use them all. Classic, Mouseworks 2013, all of them. The original had 2 shorts each episode. I think that still works. Maybe chop it down to 1 for longer ones, but yeah, keep it at 2. So we have a staff, an art style, a plot, our cast. Now we just need ideas for the actual episodes. I think we should really lean into the crossover aspect. Try to have most episodes have 2 film characters interact, with Mickey and crew in the middle helping them out. So I guess there's not much else to do besides just think of ideas. I'm a permanent child. Here's 25 ideas. These are not in any order. Easy one. Hercules and Maui meet and try to prove who's a true demigod. The original had a joke that Chernobog was scared of the dark. Continue that here with the gang trying to have him overcome his fear. Ursula is going around stealing everyone's voice, but in the end, we found out that Donald is putting up to it, as he's tired of no one being able to understand him, so he's trying out and stealing multiple other voices. Just a good old battle of bands, using all the different Disney bands. Dolly from Finding Nemo takes Buzz hostage as a toy, and the rest of the gang needs to work with Mickey to get him back. The house gets flooded by the Fantasia brooms, so Mickey decides to host a special underwater night. Pete, Ray, Pooh, Tigger, Razul, and Darkwing Duck are all annoyed at each other, and Disney forces them to get along. The jokers are all voiced by Jim Cummings. So this isn't really an episode, but we need the Gaston running Joe to come back. Please. Nick and Judy take jobs as security guards at the house, but Nick tends to let the people off easy, while Judy is too strict. The episode focuses around Mickey gang trying to find a happy medium. The obligatory villains team up, this time led by Pete throwing all the heroes out, maybe with a new version of Our House Now. However, Pete is so bad a leader that he gets thrown out, and he needs to team up with Mickey to get the club back. Goofy falls through one of the Monsters Inc. doors, so while Mickey hosts, Donald, Mike, and Sully try to get him back. Oswald tries to take over the club and gets shockingly close to doing so, but eventually stops, and then some way becomes a part of the staff and a recurring character. Something I like about the original series was having serious characters take more comedic roles, and I think Frollo could be a good pick. Have him stage a witch hunt against the many actual witches in the house before getting embarrassed by them. A thing from the first series I really liked whenever they go to the basement and find all these different artifacts. Now I have a bunch of new artifacts they can find for an episode, like Facility's talisman, Maui's hook, Goop's hat, and so on. The original DuckTales gang meets the reboot versions through some experiment, and they have to work through the differences. Elsa accidentally freezes the whole house, and the fire users melt the house down, trying to melt the ice. And so everyone has to come together to rebuild it. Cooking competition. Here are the competitors. The Halloween episode has to involve Nightmare Before Christmas in some way. Just saying, Oogie is made of bugs, and Timon and Pumbaa eat exclusively bugs, so... Princesses all have a competition on who's the most princessy and the best overall. Cusco wins. Dr. Doofenshmirtz, or someone else, makes a device that shifts reality. This causes everyone to take a different animation style throughout the episode. The episode diving into these characters being actors is the first show hinted at, and more particularly how it affects those sort of villains. Some sort of episode explaining where Pete's family is, especially since Max and Roxanne were in the original. A sequel to the episode House of Crime, where Phantom Blot comes back and now attempts to steal the entire actual physical house. Hey, you know when I said there would be a Muppet episode? This is the Muppet episode. And my final suggestion, Mickey accidentally sets himself into his different versions. Each of them have different ways that they want to run the show. The episode ends with the rest of the cast getting split into their old forms as well. Bonus one! Kanto and Tamato make out. Now I'm gonna pass it to you guys. Give us any episode ideas you have in the comments below, and if I like enough, I might make a video detailing them all. Peace.
That's it, everybody. See you real soon.